Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get out the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And my special guest today is Dr. Rosie. Dr. Rosie is the principal of the Paradigm Shifts Coaching Group, a boutique coaching firm which focuses on personal and spiritual development in oneself, in relationships, and in the workplace. And Dr. Rosie, thank you so much for joining me. I am super excited to chat with you and want to dig into this topic today, where we're going to be talking about we want transformation. We just don't want to change. And before I begin and jump into all the questions that I have for you, can you tell the good audience a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Sure. Well, I've been in the field of therapy / coaching / spiritual guidance for over 40 years. I've been working in recovery with addicts and addictions. And I think the foundation of a lot of what people are dealing with are these habitual patterns that are sometimes considered an addictive pattern. So my work as a transformational coach is to support and empower people to really look and explore and be curious about who they are inside themselves. And it can be such a wonderful, exciting, and curious adventure. But most of us think, oh my God, I'm going to find things out that I don't want to know about myself. So that's basically what I've been doing for 40 years. And I make it about as fun as I can. So people are like, they want to engage in knowing themselves and changing themselves and empowering themselves. That's what it's all about.
And I think all of us want to know more. We think we know ourselves maybe, but there's a lot of things we probably can explore, by going through this process. And one of the questions that I have for you, and it's kind of the preface, if you would, on what we're going to be talking about today is, what is transformation and how is that different from going through change?
Most people think that change, or look at change as things that we do different or think different. So this is the time of year that people are doing New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to change the way I look, the way that I feel. I'm going to change the way that I dress. I'm going to change the way that I act. And we look at specific elements of that. I'm going to wear more earrings. I'm going to wear less makeup. I'm going to, wear a bra versus, or I'm going to eat better. Those kinds of things are things that we think about in terms of change. But when we look at the bigger question, like, okay, well, what is it that has you want to change anything? They want something, it's a bigger want in a sense. And people talk about this all the time with their marketing. It's like, what's the why? What's the big why? And when we're looking at, I want to feel better in my life, I want to feel better in my body, I want to feel happier and more joyful, we're looking at an element of shift or change in all the ways of being me. So it's about how I be versus what I do. So transformation occurs in every element of life, every aspect of life. When we're beginning to make these fundamental changes in how we be, then it shifts every part of our life. And that's the fun part for me of transformation versus change. Quite often, I'm going to say it this way too, Destiny, change is basically based on fear and lack. Like, I'm going to change this because I'm afraid I'm not enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not healthy enough, or I'm not enough. And that sense of lack has us want to change something. Where for me as a coach or a transformational coach, and this is true for a lot of coaching, it's like, what is it? What's what's the big goal? What is it that you're wanting? Like for me, I turned 70 this past year. It's like, I want to be healthy and thrive for the rest of my life. And I think that's true for people who are in their 30s and 40s. They go, I want to thrive. And that level of thriving is not just about what I eat, changing what I eat. It's really a thriving, and which shifts the way that I'm being, my attitude, the way that I see how I'm feeling about things. I think of myself as a very loving, kind person, but I'll tell you, I have been grumpy and bitter and frustrated and, judging a lot. And it's like, I can't be happy and joyful and judge. I can't, or bitter. I can't be both. I have to decide. So I want the quality of being happy or the quality of being joyful, or even in serenity. And that takes a practice of focus to say, okay, I want to be this, but what I'm feeling is I'm being angry or pissed off or, grumpy. Okay, what needs to shift? So it's a bigger question, not like, what do I have to change? Oh, I have to make sure I clean my house every day. That'll make me feel better. It's like, no, what is it that's underneath that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you gave us a lot to impact, and this is all new to me. So I'm
Okay.
probably going to ask some stupid questions.
No, they're great questions.
So one of the questions I have, I know a lot of people at this time of year, losing weight and getting healthy, right, is one of the top priorities there. So let's kind of dig into that a little bit more. And I don't know, you can use me as a guinea pig, because I certainly would love to lose weight this time of year. And
Okay.
I feel like I've been eating healthy. It's just not coming off.
Okay.
So what would I do? Like how would I break that down? How would I begin that transformation process, if you would?
That's a great question. So one of the things that I have that I can direct people to is I have a YouTube channel, Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and I have a course there. It's called Inward Bound Boot Camp for Self-Transformation. And it's step by step. I think there's 21 days, if you will, or 21 steps. The first one is, what do you want? What do you want? That's the first step is, okay. And we say, I want to lose weight. Destiny, you say you want to lose weight, you're eating well, but it's like, what is it you want that losing weight will give you? What is it that you want that you're willing to change what you're doing so that you can have that? What is that?
I think that's a very good question, because I don't think I've ever thought about it that way. I mean, obviously there would be benefits that I could see to losing weight, like clothes fitting better or fitting in clothes that that I would like to wear. So that would be one. And then I think I would have to think about it and kind of break it down a little bit more.
Okay, so let's in the moment just look at that one, because
Okay.
all of it is going to point to the same place, your destiny. Okay. So one of the benefits for you of losing weight is that you're going to fit into your clothes better, and your clothes are going to fit better on you. What's that like? What's the quality of being when you're in those clothes and they fit you well and it feels good when you're in those clothes that fit you well? What's the quality of that being? What's it like being you in that?
So I would say, if I had to think about it, because it's definitely been a while. So I would say that it would feel good. I would feel more younger, more youthful, more energetic. I'm sure I'm missing some things there, but those are some of the things that come to my mind first.
So youthful, energetic, you'd feel good. What's
Mhm.
another word that's more descriptive of when you're imagining yourself in clothes that fit you well and you feel really good in those? What's those qualities that you imagine yourself experiencing in those clothes that fit well?
I would say that that's a good question. I would just say definitely more energy, being able to do more stuff, That's just what's coming to my mind. And I'm sure there's more there.
Yeah. And so part of my work as a transformational coach is to
Yeah.
help you know what those are, because when you know that, like, you're having an experience, as we're talking about this, you're in a sense going in and going, what is that experience? Oh, youthfulness.
Mhm.
That feels really fun.
Mhm.
Energetic. I like that feeling, right? Delightful. Oh my God, I love looking at myself in this. I look beautiful,
Mhm.
right? We have a delight about the experience. Is that right? Is that one of the words
Yeah,
you?
I would absolutely agree with that. Like all of that I would use to describe how I would feel if I was in that state. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. So when you know that, what happens to your potential idea of losing weight or shifting what you're doing so that you can have that experience, the youthful, energetic, delightful.
And
Well,
I think that's the challenge, because the activities that you have to take to get to that point are almost, they feel like they're you almost impossible to do.
beautiful. So in this Inward Bound boot camp for self-transformation that's on YouTube, this is day number 2. So
Mhm.
day number 1 is, here's what I want. I want to lose weight. And part of why I want to lose weight is because I love the feeling of being youthful and energetic and delighted in myself and delighted in my being, right? That's what I want.
Mhm.
Okay. Second day 2 is, what's in the way? What are those obstacles? And so what you're saying in this moment, Destiny, is right now it feels impossible.
Feels impossible. It feels almost like climbing Mount Everest would be a good way to describe it. Yes.
Beautiful. So here's what I want. I want this feeling. I've been there, done that, because you have. That's how you know
Mhm.
it. And you're going, yeah, I haven't. It's been a while, but yeah, I remember this is what I like.
Yes.
So this is the quality of life I want to have for myself. And then what I call the yes buts, what ifs, if onlys. Okay. The yes but is, it's impossible. Okay. It feels impossible. That's one of the yes
Mhm.
buts, correct?
I would absolutely. I would put that in there as it just almost feels like it cannot be done.
That's right. That's right. It's impossible. So this is true for 99% of us. And I was just thinking about this for myself. I'm wanting to make some homemade yogurt, and I've already tried twice last week, and I failed, right? And it's like, oh God, do I do it again? And it's like, it's not the failing I'm afraid of. It's the fear of failure that gets in my way, not the failing, but because I failed millions of times in my life. It's my fear of failing that gets in my way. So here's this place where you go, hey, I want this feeling. And this fear of failing, the fear that it's just impossible. So I'm going to fail, right? There's an automatic, I'm going to fail at this because it's impossible, gets in your way.
And yes, because I have experienced that failure so many times, right? So I know exactly how that feels.
That's right. And part of it is you have an automatic response to this potential of getting into your clothes and having them fit well. And you have the knowing of that too. You've been there. But this automatic, I'm going to fail, it just stops you in your track. So you go, why bother? Right? Why bother? And this is the dilemma that so many people face is because our languaging and our thinking and our belief systems have been so strong. You're 30 something. You're 30 something, right?
I'm actually 51.
Get out of here.
Yes. I
Okay.
wish I was 30 something. That would be awesome.
So for we'll say 40 some years, you have been in the pattern of thinking a certain way. And that patterning is what gets in our way always of having what we want.
Mm.
And so part of being a transformational coach or a life coach is supporting people and saying, hey, look at this way that you've been thinking about this forever. Okay. And just look at how you're thinking about it. I think of myself as, and I say this to my clients, I'm your thinking partner. Okay. So here's what you want. You want to feel great. You want to feel that energy and the thriving and the delight of being you. That's what I want for everyone, is that you get to be excited about being in you, right? That's what you want. And here's this thought that has been with you for probably 45 years, we'll say. Here's this thought. It's just a thought. Now, is that thought something that you want to continue to believe is true? Or are you open to the possibility of shifting that thought to maybe it's not true?
I would say that I would be open to trying to shift that way of thinking. Yes.
So one of the things you said is I'd be open to trying. Okay, so at this moment, there's no trying. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
be open to the idea that maybe that thought is not true.
Yes,
Okay,
I
great.
am open to it.
Have you actually had the experience of losing weight and having your clothes fit and what it feels like to do that?
Yes, I have experienced that also.
Okay. So already what was impossible, you already experienced it, not as a possibility but as a fulfillment. You
That is
did.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
It's been a
So
long time, but yes.
it's, and we could go, yeah, but, it's all gone. It's like, yeah, no, that doesn't matter to me, because you can keep sourcing into it's impossible, it's really hard, or you can source into, wow, I actually did it before. And I can do it again. Because I really want that experience again. I want that tangible experience of fitting in my clothes, being delighted and excited. One of the elements of my training as a coach is my coach said, okay, I want you to go to a store where you like the clothes and try them on and see which clothes actually reflect your essence self. And that was so fun. He said, you don't have to buy anything. You just go try it on so you know what it's like to be in those clothes that delight you, and you're delighted with yourself inside that. Okay. So that was a really great experience. So you've had that experience. Okay. So we could do this for an hour and a half, I guess, but this is I want this to be a very short show.
Yeah.
So, but that's the dilemma that people face, is like, oh, I want this. I know this place because I've been there. I've done it. I've climbed Everest before. And so I have that potential to do it again, period. Period. Right. But the day 2 part says, yeah, no, it's impossible to do it twice or 3 times or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. It's what you want to tell yourself. It's what you're willing to shift and change. And when people do this, it's not only a shift and change in, let's say, the weight loss process, but you want to feel that way in your relationships with your partners or with your children or with your work, with your employees or employers, is you begin to go, wait, I want that over here too. And I want this over here. We want that delight everywhere. And it's not like, okay, what do I have to change? It's a shift in how we're seeing ourselves. And it's like, oh, I'm a failure. I'm going to fail at this. One of my favorite ways of terming myself when I'm in those states is I'm a pathetic loser. And it's like, I'm a pathetic loser. I can't do it. Like, yeah. And you can continue to stay a pathetic loser, Rosie, or you can shift how you're seeing yourself and witnessing yourself. And that's my choice to say, okay, there are places that I may be that, but how do I maintain that and sustain that truth, as opposed to saying, hey, I've written 14 books. I have got a PhD, which these are things way out of my comfort zone. There's no way. I grew up in a family where I was really just invisible. I had a C- average in high school. I basically almost flunked college. And at some point I said, I want to be a therapist and I want to be a coach. I want to be this stuff. And so I got to, do stuff to make that different. And I kept doing it. And then I got a PhD. It's like, what the? Because that's not my sense of self. That's not me, and I've survived, not only survived, I actually thrived. People look at my life and go, wow, you've got a great life. And I go, yeah, but you don't really know me. You don't know what a pathetic loser I really am, that kind of stuff. And it's like, I got to stop that. Right.
Well, let me ask you this, and because I think you're bringing up a lot of good points. And why do you think we focus so much on needing to be different or change ourselves? Can't we just be happy with how we are? Do we even need to have that transformation?
The transformation occurs in the moment you go, I can stop doing that, you know.
Mhm.
I put lipstick on and eyeshadow on because I thought we were going to be in person kind of thing, or, at least visible. It's like, I don't do that anymore. I put earrings on when I'm with my clients because it's Zoom, but that's pretty much it. So all of those things I thought I had to do, all those things I thought that were required, and you go, yeah, I don't need to do that. That's a really good thing. Now you can tell, I don't need to do that. Okay. You don't have to, I totally get it. You don't have to do it. Now what? And it's like, I don't know. So one of the things I talk about my self destiny a lot because people go, oh, she is a expert in a professional. So she doesn't have those problems. But I only know this stuff because I've worked myself through these negotiations to stay small and little versus going, yeah, no, I can make this different. And then when I know I can make this different, then I can talk to you and go, do you know this place, Destiny, of that delight? Do you want that again? And you go, hell yes. And I go, okay, great, let's do it. And you go, yeah, no, it's impossible. It's like, oh, really? You did it once, right? So I forget what I was about. I was trying to make a point.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about, I think we put a lot of emphasis on improving ourselves or changing, or, is that even really necessary? Can we just not be happy the way we are today?
That's right. There's I am connected with a group called suivera.org, SUIVERA.org. And they have on Facebook something called Suivera Life. And this Friday, I'm going to do a talk about, we don't have, like Mr. Rogers would say, hey, you're great just the way you are. And the moment that you accept that, it's very, very challenging to say, I love myself the way I am. We have to go, yes, but what about that weight? Yes, but what about the way that your toenails look? Yes, but what about the freckle on your nose? Yes, but all those yes buts. And it's like, that's the point where transformation, because it's like, I'm going to love myself no matter what. I do love myself no matter what. That's the practice. It is tremendously difficult because all those yes buts come up, right? But that's the moment that we begin to become enlightened. That's the moment we become awake to say, I'm telling myself that story. I don't need to tell myself that story anymore, that I lack something or I'm unworthy. I don't have to do that anymore. There's a statistic that says 80% of our thoughts are negative in nature. Okay.
80%? Did you say
80%? That means 20% of the time you're thinking happier thoughts, not necessarily happy thoughts. 80% you're thinking not happy thoughts. So, oh, look at that freckle. Oh, look at the wrinkles. Oh, look at just fill in the blank. Okay. Look at how pathetic I am. Look at how impossible it is. Look at how many times I've done this and failed. Those are all the negatives. So if we want to make a shift in our lives, just start noticing. You don't have to try anything. You don't have to try. Just notice that's negative. That's negative. That's negative. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel shame because that's more negative. But just go, wow, look at that. Be interested. Be curious. And because it's worldwide, we're all human beings are doing this because we're enmeshed or immersed in this water of negativity. And so we have an opportunity to just say, hey, I'm going to start looking at, and that's what I did. I said, okay, do I want to spend 80% of my life being negative? Do you want to spend 80% of your life being negative, Destiny? That's a yes or no question.
That is absolutely not. When you said that percentage, I'm like, that's crazy. I don't want to spend 80% of my life.
And I 5 or 10 years ago, when I first saw the statistic, it was 70%. And then I saw it again. I looked again and I go, is that really true? And then it was 80%. So it's like, yeah. So I just said, hey, if I can eliminate 10% of that negativity, what's my life going to be like? Just 10%. And it was like, wow. And now my life is probably, I'll say 20% negative and 80% positive, because I've been working at eliminating those negativities for a long time. But what shows up then is more positive. But what we imagine in transformation is that it's going to be easy and it's just going to come easy. If our baseline for most of us is 80% negative, you can't, it's your vibration, your energy, your mentality, your belief system, your hormones, your physicality would not be able to tolerate a huge shift the other way without some distortion in our being. And so that's why it takes a long time. It takes the time it takes to go through this process, this transformational process, to engage more of our true self, which is basically less and less negativity. Our essential nature is fun and playful and connected and engaged and wise. It's not negative and fearful and depressed. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
So we can change that by becoming more conscious of, oh, there's that negativity. Oh, there's that negativity. Oh, and it doesn't even have to be a thought. Sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes it's a sensation in my body. I go, this doesn't feel good. So there's something negative going on. Don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to be aware of it. So there's nothing to change, nothing to change. But my intention is to be in less negativity, period. And if people just did that, just because what's the point of being negative? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I love it. I love what you're saying. And it's just, making a few tweaks here and there. So Dr. Rosie, before we close out here today, any last minute tips or things that you want to mention to the audience?
I think that what we've brought up today, Destiny, is just the ticket. It's like, there's nothing to do. Just stop doing what doesn't work. If you want to be happier, just notice how negative you are. Notice where you focus your negativity. Notice perhaps the TV shows or the IGs or Facebook. Notice where you're bringing in negativity and just say, is this what I want? And if it's a yes, just say, okay, I'll just keep doing more negativity. Be good with it. Don't blame yourself or feel guilty. Just go, I want this. Or the food that we eat. I'm not ready to give up that apple pie. Okay, great. I'm going to encourage you not to give up that apple pie, because we need to have choice in our lives. We need to have that sense of empowerment. And so whether I'm choosing apple pie or a cup of yogurt, it doesn't matter. I get to choose. And everybody gets to choose. And that's the most important way that we get to see how we're empowering ourselves, whether we're empowering ourselves to feel angry and pissed off, or peaceful and tranquil and delighted in our skin and our bodies and our clothes. It's that choice making. That's the bottom line.
And I think that is so powerful. Dr. Rosie, can you let the good audience know if they wanted to go learn a little bit more about you and what you do? Where can they find you?
They can find me. You can actually just Google me, Rosie Kuhn, Kuhn. You can find me on YouTube, like I said. And my website is called theparadigmshifts.com. And again, if you Google me, theparadigmshifts.com will come up. And you'll see that there's a lot of blogs there, Destiny. There's a lot to read. There's a lot of information. I provide one-on-one coaching training as well as one-on-one coaching. And if you go there and you go, oh, I'd like to work with her, but she's probably too busy, just dial that number or email me and see what we can perhaps work together if you want to. Don't give up just because you think I won't be. That's just an excuse on your part. Oh, she'll probably be too busy for me. It's like, yeah, no, give it a try if that's what you want. So that's the best place, is the paradigmshifts.com or YouTube. And I've got a new course on suivera.org that's available. Again, it's the boot camp for self-transformation. So lots of fun places. Just Google, you'll find me.
And we'll also make sure, Dr. Rosie, that those links are in the show notes so people can find them and go straight to your website and the YouTube channel. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me today. And I so much enjoyed the conversation. I definitely had a lot of aha moments and things to think about as we move on to more positivity.
Thank you, Destiny. And if you want me back on your show, just anytime, just let me know. I'll be here. It's fun talking with you.
Thank you.
And thanks for letting me coach you a little bit. That's, I think, really great. That's very courageous of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free Hobby School Online Learning Summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to hobbyschool.com, and that's Hobby School with school without an H in it. Talk soon.